Christmas is always so stressful, and I have
stressful.
found one of the best things to give friends is a taste of Memphis, some of my favorite foods. And the food artisan scene in Memphis, the food companies, the small entrepreneurs are out there, and that industry has been booming since the pandemic. I mean, it's like everyone was stuck at home and they started cooking, and they were like, let's turn my favorite toffee into a business, or let's turn my favorite hot sauce into a business. And it's been pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah, it looks great. I love some of the things that you have on your list. Let's dive right in.
Yeah, let's dive right in. So first, you can't talk about Memphis foods without having a conversation about barbecue. So for all those barbecue aficionados on your list, give them a gift of Memphis barbecue, and do, either pick up their favorite sauces or dry rubs, or what I like to do is kind of do a combination of things. And so just so you know, all the big names like Corky's and Central Barbecue and Hog Wild, Rendezvous, all of those are for sale in your area grocery stores. So you can pick up, their traditional ones, and then you can see from here for Central Barbecue, like they can sell their mustard sauce. You can kind of mix and match. I can't say that word. Some of your favorite ones. And I do have to give a shout out to, there's some small companies that aren't as well known that are making great barbecue sauces and dry rubs here in Memphis. And a lot of them are Memphis competition barbecue teams. So Meat Whiskey is one. It's MW Smokers. Their meat whiskey sauce is one of my new favorites, and they have some dry rubs called Stackhouse, and there's another one that's called Hog Toss, and that's really, really great products to do. In fact, for my barbecue chicken, we use their seasoning blends, and then we use their sauce, and it is really creates great flavor. There's also a company called Uncle Merle's. That's also a barbecue team that competes at Memphis-made, and their mustard barbecue sauce is like my go-to for on chicken and pork chops. You can even use it as a condiment. It is so good. And you can buy a lot of these things, as I mentioned, area grocery stores, but some of the smaller, like more independent shops, like Charlie's Meat Market, has a huge selection of small brand, cottage industry sauces and dry rubs. So does places like High Point Grocery and South Point Grocery, Cordelia's. They all specialize in kind of selling local products. So those are where you can find those. So moving on, if you have a friend or a loved one who is into bartending or mixology, there's so many great offerings now in Memphis. And one of the things that I think would make a really great gift this year is one of Old Dominic's new Tennessee straight whiskeys. It's the first time that in Memphis, a Tennessee whiskey has been made from start to finish since Prohibition. So that's kind of cool. So they're kind of like, historic. It's a really cool thing. And they have 3 offerings. They have a straight Tennessee whiskey, and then they also have 2 bottled and bond whiskeys that are available. And bottled and bond is basically just become a kind of, it was originally done so people knew that there was nothing weird in their bourbon back in the, days after Prohibition. But now it's become kind of a signature of that it is a craft, well-made bourbon if you have the bottled and bonds designation. And so they have not 1, but 2 you can choose from. And I'm not sure if they still have them, but if you go down to Old Dominic Distillery itself, and in their tap room, you can buy, at least you could earlier this month, you could still buy signed bottles by Alex Castle, who is the master distiller there. She had signed bottles, so that would make a really cool gift. Also, speaking about whiskey and bourbon, we also have BR Distilling Company makes Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, and those are 2 excellent options. I love the Blue Note Bourbon's the Juke Joint, because I just think that's such a fun name, and it's so Memphis. It's a good price point. It's in the $30 range, so it makes a good, fun gift for somebody who loves bourbon. And if you have somebody who likes to make drinks, or someone who doesn't drink alcohol, you can get cane and herbs herbaceous simple syrups. And this is a small company. This is a couple, and they started playing around with simple syrups in their own kitchen. And they make some really, really kind of great, fun, different things like the rosemary one, and they have his hibiscus. And so you can use them to make cocktails as well as mocktails. And it's a great little small business. And those are available at stores all around, or you can order it online and get it. So those are some great ideas for someone who is interested in mixology on your list. So moving on, let's talk about someone who is an avid cook. So there are so many great ingredients, obviously, at farmers markets and things like that, but you know, you can't really give a gift at this time of year of a basket of produce, but you can do some kind of other cool things. So there's two meat companies that I would like to mention, and one is Home Place Pastures, and you can obviously always drive down to Como, Mississippi and pick up stuff, but they also ship to Memphis, and everything comes frozen. So you can give this gift and people can put stuff in their freezer and then thaw it at their leisure. But one of their sampler gift packs would make a great gift because it's all grass-fed pork and beef. Great products. They also have some line of some sausages and charcuterie that they do. So Home Place Pastures would be a great option. Another thing that I love to give is Newman Farm. They have a bacon lovers sampler pack that comes with 5 pounds of their bacon, and their sugar cured bacon and then their pepper bacon are probably two of my all-time favorite bacons anywhere. And so that would make a fun gift. They're out of Missouri, but they're within a 5 hours drive, and they were for a long time were a staple at the Memphis farmers markets downtown, but they're not there anymore, but they do still ship to Memphis. They also have a box called a farm stock box, which it's more than just their bacon and their Berkshire Heritage Pork products that includes like chickens and beef from area farms around them. That also makes a cool gift. Also for the cook, there's so many different great sauces and condiments that you can do. Thinking beyond barbecue, Jacko's pepper jelly is one of my favorites. You know, it's great to use, on a cheese board, but it also, if you melt it and put it on pork tenderloin or on grilled duck breast, it's really, really delicious. That is made by Leila Gerald. It was her dad's recipe, and she has turned it into a great little business. And she has several different flavors of her pepper jelly. There's also things like New Wing Order. They are a great hot wing company. They started out as a competition barbecue hot wing competition team, and now they have a food truck, and now they have a little restaurant inside of Ghost River Brewing Company on Beale Street, and they sell their sauces, and that would be a great thing to do. And if somebody likes hot sauce, Black Sheep Bottling Company, their smoked Memphis hot sauces are really good. So there are lots of great condiments that you can give people to kind of like jazz up what they're serving here in Memphis. Okay.
These are such great ideas. I just want to say, Jennifer, these are such great ideas. I mean, you don't even have to be a foodie, and you could be a native Memphian. I would love to get any one of these things that you're mentioning. They look fantastic. They sound great. You could always use them in the kitchen. One thing I want to go back to that you mentioned that I thought was so cool, and the historic aspect of the whiskey at Old Dominic's. So this is start to finish a Tennessee whiskey straight that hasn't been done in Memphis since Prohibition. That's wild.
Yeah. Isn't it? It's very, very cool. And, it's one of those things when Old Dominic started. And in fact, we should mention anything from Old Dominic's great. I actually personally love their Honey Bell vodka. It's just so citrusy and it makes great cocktails. But, when they opened, they were like, okay, we're going to be a distilling company and we're going to do bourbon and whiskey. And, but, it takes time. So they had to start it had to age. It's had to, it's followed all of the rules to be designated a straight Tennessee whiskey. So it's a really, really cool thing that they've done over there. And I forget, Alex Castle is, I think, one of the first female master distillers in Tennessee since Prohibition as well. I'm not 100% sure that's right, but she has a designation that again makes she not only is what she's creating is historic for Memphis, but she herself has kind of made her place and her mark on the bourbon and whiskey world here in Tennessee.
Yeah, I recently heard her on a podcast, and she talked about being, one of the few females in a male-dominated industry like that, and loves Memphis and loves working there, and loves, just kind of highlighting the Bluff City. It's great.
Yeah. And I will say, give her one more shout out too, is every once in a while, if you go in there and sometimes she does some interesting kind of spins on different alcohols. Like she did an oatmeal cookie bourbon, I think, or I'm not 100% sure. It was a couple of years ago, but every once in a while, if you go to the distillery downtown, you can find in their shop there, you can find some kind of unique offerings that that are really small batch artisan things that she's done that you won't find anywhere else. And again, that would make a unique gift. Okay, I have the biggest sweet tooth in the entire world. Everyone who knows me knows that. And you'll probably, if you read my stuff in the Commercial Appeal, you know it. Every holiday, I always make sure to do a list of my favorite like chocolates and sweets and baked goods in town. So I listed some of my favorite candies that you can get for the holidays. A gift of a Philip Ashley box of chocolates. They're like a work of art. The Taste of Memphis. He has a Taste of Memphis collection that's really, really fun. And that's a great thing to give, especially someone from out of town. His chocolate turtles are also really, really good. Then there is Bluff City Toffee, which I've always been a huge fan of. Stephanie Upshaw created this company, and it's like some of the best like chocolate covered toffee. She uses Mississippi Delta pecans. I mean, she does it all from scratch. It was a recipe that she used to give everyone at Christmas. And when her kids went off to college, she started making it as a business. And what will make it even sweeter to give it as a gift this year is she has sold it, and there's a parent company, there's a company, but I forget the company name, but basically it has been sold to the Madonna Learning Center in Germantown. And it is going to become a project and a fundraiser for them, and it's going to provide jobs for their special needs students and graduates, and as well as support the program. And it's just, not only is it a delicious product on its own, it just got a little sweeter and more reason to support it with doing that. It's just really, really cool thing. And if you've never had a Moore truffle, they are cookie truffles. So Kendra Moore Crawford makes these fabulous cookie truffles, which, some people know those. You take, the traditional way you do it at home is you take Oreos and you mix it with cream cheese and you dip them in chocolate. Well, she usually creates different flavors. She hand bakes her own cookies. They're really, really yummy and sinful. And she has, all of her flavors are great. But online, she does have a collection of holiday flavored truffles. So definitely check those out. They're really, really good. They're a favorite treat of mine. And then lastly, I will just say, if you have a friend that loves to eat, but doesn't like to cook per se, one of the best gifts is a gift certificate. So, it's a great way to support our local Memphis restaurants and give them a helping hand, especially because, in January, it tends to be a little bit of a slow month, but give a gift certificate to one of your favorite restaurants to show your support for them. And I can tell you that anybody that receives it, whether they're a cook or not a cook, would love the excuse to go out to dinner on having somebody else treat them to it.
Great idea. And all of them, Jennifer, are just amazing ideas. I love it. I love seeing the list. And this is something that if you're trying to find the gift for someone that has everything, this is a perfect opportunity to really kind of hone in on some of these items that you just mentioned. They just look fantastic. And I just can't wait to purchase a couple for some of the people on my list. Yeah,
and it's great. And everything we mentioned, it ranges. You can spend $10 to, some of those meat boxes are more like $125, but everything I mentioned is under $150. And most of the stuff I mentioned is probably well under $20 that you could give a gift to someone and make it something special.
Absolutely. Commercialappeal.com/food. Jennifer Chandler, the food reporter for the Commercial Appeal. We appreciate it, as always, you joining us on the digital desk. Thanks and happy holidays.
Thanks for having me. Bye.